just take a nap? Oh, that was weird.
Oh yeah, I think we're finally live. Looks like we're live. Okay, we're live. So today is stretch and strength. Yeah. Today is stretch and strength yoga. If you have bands or straps or something you can use, grab them. They're not 100% necessary. If you don't have them, you can make do. If you have something you can slide on, like a little hand towel, if you have carpet in your house, you can use paper plates. You can use something that slides on the carpet. Kelly forgot her towel. So grab those things, and the towel you're going to place at the end of your mat where your feet can get it. If you are having trouble seeing us, switch over to YouTube. For some reason, Facebook is really glitchy today, so. All right, we're gonna start on our backs. Your feet are gonna be able to be placed on your little
I think I'm gonna have to turn around.
slidey thing, whatever that is. So we have a little towel. So your feet are going to be onto the towel, easily onto the towel, but you can leave them on the mat for now. So have the towel handy, have it ready. Come down to your backs, knees up, feet on the ground. Ah, my hair's in the way. Again, if we're having trouble on Facebook, switch over to YouTube Live. It's better quality over there. All right, so we're going to come down onto our backs. We're going to arrive on our mats, really taking this time to center and land. Find your hips on the ground and give them a wiggle. Let your back be nice and soft. So really find a little sway until you can find a little softness in the lower back and in the hips. Let the shoulders land on the ground. Let the shoulder blades melt into your back. Try not to bring the chin back and force the neck down to the ground. Have a nice little soft curve in your neck. Have a softness in your neck. Bring your hands to wherever they're comfortable, where your hands can soften and relax. And then just start to notice the breath. Breath that happens in the here and now, starting to land in present moment, letting go of yesterday, letting go of worries of tomorrow, and starting to really land in the present moment. Feel your feet on the ground. Maybe give your toes a little wiggle. Start to feel your feet. Press the balls of your feet down into the ground and lift up the toes and spread the feet. Spread the toes. Notice any compensation patterns that happen in your low back or glutes. Just try to use the feet right now. And then lower the toes down, press into the balls of the feet, and lift up the heels of the feet. Feel the muscles of the feet. Again, we're using a little bit in the leg and the lower leg, but look for compensation patterns in the back. Make sure the back is still soft, the hips are still grounded, neck and face are still soft. And then lower the heels, lift up the toes, spread the toes. And then lower the toes and lift up the heels. Nice and slow. Connect with the muscles that make this movement. Lower the heels. Make sure your feet are about hip width apart. Take the right heel up, cross it just underneath the left knee. Press the right knee away from you And pull the foot tight. So really pull the toes towards the shin. Active, strong leg. Then lift the toes on the left foot. Press into the ground with the left foot. Try to feel more active in that left leg as well as the right. Pressing that knee away from you. And then soften the legs and take a slow ankle circle with the right foot. And then reverse your circle. Trying to feel every point of the circle, finding any tension in the foot or the ankle. And then switch sides. Right foot plants, left foot lifts and crosses just underneath the right knee. And then both legs active. Push the left knee away from you with your muscles, not your hands. Pull your toes towards your shins. Press into the right foot. Lift the toes. And breathe. And then soften both legs and take ankle circles with the left foot. And then switch the direction. And then placing both feet down. This time, place your feet onto your slidey thing, whatever that is. Maybe it's a blanket, maybe it's paper plates. And then wiggle your mat up so that your mat is close to your hips. You're gonna bring your feet close to your hips just to make sure you can slide them all the way up. And then let your feet go as far away as you can with your knees still bent. You're gonna press your heels into the ground, press your hips into the ground, maybe even place your hands here to make your hips remember to stay on the ground. And then you're gonna slowly drag the heels towards the hips. Slowly push the heels away. Trying to find all the muscles in the back of the legs. You can use the glutes too. Try not to use the back. Slowly drag the heels towards the hips. And slowly push the heels away. Finding a push and a pull. Draw back close to the hips. The backs of your legs should be starting to burn already. Press them away. Watch for those compensation patterns in the low back. Really press your hips down into the ground. Using your legs. Nice, slow, steady breath. Mindful of compensation patterns. Check in on the neck. Check in on the back. Kaylee quit already. Nice and slow. Finding the backs of your legs. Go until they burn and see if you can do 2 more.
Just laying my feet around.
Pull your toes towards your shins to make sure your legs are really working.
My legs are doing no work.
Or you can cheat like Kaylee. Let that go. Bring your knees in towards your chest.
Oh, my legs hurt so bad.
Take your feet up towards the ceiling. You can leave a bend in the knees and just experience your feet above your heart. Take little pedals with your feet. Spread your toes. Then bring your knees back in towards the chest. Maybe rock it a little. Take your fists and just kind of tap the backs of your legs. You can slap with your hands. And then take your knees above your hips. Press your hips firmly down into the ground. Bring your feet even with your knees. This should fire up your core already. Your stomach should be really tightly pulling towards the spine, pressing the hips down into the ground. Don't press the lower back into the ground. Press the rib cage into the ground. So hold here. Notice your compensation patterns first. So what's your face doing? What's your neck doing? Really push the hips down into the ground. Hold the legs strong. See if you can find those muscles in your feet. Hold here. And then we're going to allow one leg to go long. And then switch. Nice and slow. Pedaling while keeping this all in our stomach. Mindful to keep it in our stomach. We're finding that mind-body connection and we're looking for compensation patterns. Press the hips down. Press the rib cage down. Fire up the legs. And then bring the knees in, rock it a little, reset. Curl up onto a side and come to a seat, easy seat position. Fold your mat. Kaylee's lazy already today. Come to an easy seat position. Get nice and tall. Find your hips on the ground. Get really tall in the spine. Tall through the crown of the head. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, drop the right arm down and fold to the right. Inhale, center. Drop to the other side with the exhale. Rainbow, side to side. Inhale up. Exhale over. Find your breath. Why are you so dark on the YouTube video?
I don't know. I'm always like that. I always kind of look like a creepy shadow in the back.
You gotta fix that somehow.
It's funny.
Bring it up center. Exhale, draw the elbows down and back. Behind you, arms strong. Inhale up. Exhale, arms down.
It is a
Watch
lot
for
darker
compensation patterns. So you're not leaning your torso forward. Don't use the low back. Use the upper back and shoulders. Or at least try to use the upper back and shoulders.
My arms are tired.
Kaylee's not doing anything today. Lucky you can't see her on YouTube. And then bring that down and take nice slow shoulder rolls one at a time.
I'm here for stretchy yoga.
Bring it on over to a tabletop position. Find your hands on the ground. Make room for your wrists. Inhale, tabletop, and exhale, child. Find your breath. Connect with your breath. Have an internal experience. Maybe try tucking your toes for a couple of rounds, feeling the feet. And then land in a tabletop, tuck the toes, and send the hips up and back for a down dog. Pedal out your down dog, do what feels good, find your movement. And then find the stillness of a down dog. Really connect with lifting your hips up out of the ground, lifting up out of your wrists and shoulders. Using your core, your legs can be as bent as they need to be. We're really connecting with our head below our heart. Find your breath. Trying to keep the upper body as still as possible. Take both heels over to the left. And just feel a little bit more opening on the right side body. Slow as you can. Trying not to move the upper body too much. Take the heels over to the right. And then back to a regular down dog. Lift the right heel as slow as you can up to three-legged dog. Engaging the right leg. Nice and still. Strong right leg. Hold here. And then bring the knee towards the chest slow. Inhale long. Exhale, knee towards chest. Nice and slow, trying to find the muscles that make this movement. Watch for compensation patterns in the neck and shoulders. Soften the face. And then bring it through. Step behind the right wrist. Find your low lunge. And this is a great place to find your blocks. Mine are all the way over here. Find your blocks. Lift up a little out of the joints. So pressing into the right foot. Lifting up out of the ankle and knee and hip. Rather than sinking down as far as you can go. Lift up. Active legs. Use the blocks to help you lift up. And then we're going to inhale forward, exhale, send that right leg towards straight, but both legs strong and active, having an experience of muscles in the right foot, the right leg, all the way to the left leg. Trying to have an internal experience, maybe changing the weight on the foot. Really finding all of the muscles and angles of the leg and knee. And then come forward on the right foot. Have your block, you're going to place it by the left foot. You're going to land your left foot onto the block, bend the knee, engage, and come on up to a funky high lunge. So the block should probably be a little bit closer to you than your regular high lunge, so a little bit shorter stance. Find your stance with your foot on the block. Notice the difference. Notice this back leg is probably way more engaged than it usually is. Or you're cheating.
I don't understand how.
Bring your knee down. Active leg. There you go. All right. So, find your balance. It's a little harder. Inhale, lift up, lengthen. Exhale, bend both knees. Bring the left knee as low as you can. Inhale, lift up, lengthen. Exhale, lower, slow.
I came for stretchy.
It's stretch and strength.
Can we just stretch and stretch?
Lift up, lengthen. Take your weight onto the right leg and lift up the back toes. Maybe even come to a full warrior three, lengthening and strengthening that back leg. And then lower the left leg next to the right. Inhale, connect with the breath, arms overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart. 3 rounds. Hold the mountain pose. Find your center. You're going to take a block next to your left foot. You're going to place your left foot onto the block with the heel off. So watch this. I'm going to show you lots of levels. So you're going to lift up to the ball of the left foot. And then lower the ball of the left foot, maybe a little past the block, starting to stretch the leg. Inhale as you lift. Exhale as you squeeze. Maybe this is enough for you. Staying here, just finding a little bit more length, dropping the heel a little bit more. For more, you're gonna lower and lift onto the ball of the right foot, so you're switching.
And tip your block.
Go slow and mindful, and hands for balance can be ahead of you, on your hips, out. Whatever helps you balance. So really slowly finding the back of the leg. This is a stretch, as well as a little strengthen.
I'm not balanced today.
And then maybe bring it up and hold to wherever you can. Try not to lock the knee on the left leg, but lowering the heel. Finding a little length in the calf. Finding a little length in the left foot. Whoops.
I watched you wobble. You fall.
And then lower. Remove the block. Tap the feet up.
That was a nice stretchy stretch. Let's keep stretchy stretch.
Take the left foot under, curl the toes under. Land the foot and then feel like you're pulling the foot towards the right foot. Without letting it move, maybe even tuck the pelvis a little. See if you can find a little opening on the top of the left leg as well as the foot. Land on the right foot. Get really strong on the right foot, right leg. Lift left leg. Hover. Notice your balance point. Bring the left leg down, just ahead of the right. Turn the toes out. So turn the toes out, get strong. Now see if you can lift this left leg and hold and hover. Breathe. And then bring it down, tap it out. It's so hot in here today.
I know it's really hot.
That's my towel that I just used for my feet. Oh no!
You want my towel?
Connect with the breath 3 times. Inhale up, exhale, prayer to heart. Inhale up, exhale, prayer to heart. Hold and center. This time, inhale up and swan, dive it down. Touch your block. Maybe even keep it on the high. Take the tension out of the head and the neck. Find the legs. Maybe a little bend in the knees. And then just start to lift one heel at a time, nice and slow. Feeling the legs, having an internal experience. And maybe both heels, nice and slow. Feeling the feet. And then finding the ground, stepping back, high plank. Lowering the knees and finding a child's. Find your breath. Notice left and right sides. And then making your way to down dog. Lift the hips up out of the ground. Find a nice steady breath. Slowly as you can, lift the left heel towards the ceiling, 3-legged dog. Slowly, slowly, slowly reach and strengthen. Very active left leg. Take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, slow as you can, an active leg, bring the knee towards the chest. And then inhale as you lengthen again, as slow as you can. And then step through low lunge. Maybe find your blocks. Start to move through this left leg, inhaling forward, exhaling, sending it towards straight. Land on the left leg. Send the block back towards the right foot. Place the toes, the ball of the foot on the block. And inhale, come up to your funky high lunge. Whew. Nice and strong. Set up, get really strong. And we're going to inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, lower the back knee, bend the left. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Nice and slow and controlled. Try to find more muscles in your legs and your glutes. Find your funky high lunge. We're going to come forward onto the left leg. Maybe slowly pop up the right. Maybe full warrior three. Strong legs. Thinking about strong, long legs and lengthen the spine. So if you're growing through the crown of your head, then bring the right foot to meet the left. This time you're going to bring your block to the right foot. So ball of the right foot onto the block. You're going to lift the heel and lower the heel past the block.
Flipped right over.
Nice and slow and with control. If you feel the muscles in your foot, you're not going to drop the block. If you just flip, you're going to drop the block. So if you're moving slow and controlled, you'll be able to find the muscles in the leg. And then maybe even lifting onto the ball of the left foot as the right foot lowers. Watch your balance. And then find your point to hold that feels comfortable, just lengthening. Don't go to that end zone. Find the place where the muscles feel like they're warm, they're happy. They're getting that feeling rather than the screaming at you in agony. And bring it down and tap it out. Connect with the breath. Inhale up, prayer overhead. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Hold your center. Maybe even close your eyes for a few breaths. Take in what's different from when we started. Breathe. adjust that to see if we can get some more light. Is that better? Look at that. Better, right?
I think you just changed the frame.
I did, but at least, I don't know. Maybe not. Hold your center. Interlace the fingers, leave the index fingers long, and then reach the hands out ahead of you. Find that point where you're pushing your hands forward and kind of rolling and stretching between the shoulder blades. Watch for compensation patterns in the back. Try to soften the back, maybe take the feet a little wider. Notice where your back can be comfortable. So we're rolling the shoulders, pressing forward, hollowing out the chest. And then bring it back to neutral. Lift the arms up overhead. Really engaging the arms, and then take the arms over to the right, opening up left side body. Breathe and lengthen. Back to center. Over to the left. So we'll notice when we do this, we're reaching up and over. We're not folding sideways. We're opening up right side body. Notice your compensation patterns in your back. Bring it back to center. Release the hands, take slow circles. And then inhale up, swan dive it down. Touch the ground. Step back, cat plank. Lower
So
the
hot.
knees and child's pose. Find your center, find your breath. If you have the bands, you're going to wrap the bands around your lower arm and come on up to a tabletop. So try not to be right on any joints. Lower arms engage. So find that point where you can press into the bands. If not, just imagine you're pushing into a band. Try to engage your arms and shoulders in that manner. Try to feel like you're really pushing into the band. And then take your shoulders, take the weight into your arms and shoulders, tuck the toes, lift and hover the knees. Really engaging the arms and shoulders, pressing into the band. Breathe and hold. Lower the knees, really keeping strength in the left hand. We're going to lift and pull the right hand out towards the side into the band. You can just have your fingers on the ground engaging, or you can lift and hold. Strong shoulders, breathe. And then bring it down, reset. Left hand lifts, right hand strong, right arm strong. Right shoulder, everything strong.
I have all your sequins on my mat.
Place that down and then slowly lower all the way towards the ground. Crocodile pose, but you've still got the band if you have the band. So you're going to take your hands out ahead, drop the forehead down, shimmy the hips, let go of the back. Making sure you can find that comfortable position for the hips, maybe even a tiny tuck. You're going to lift up the arms and hold and engage into the band. So lift and hold and engage, open. Try to take the tension out of the neck. If you need to leave the head down, leave the head down. If you can hold it up, try to use the back muscles. So you're going to engage the glutes and the backs of the legs. Everything engaged. Press the toes, the tops of the toes into the ground. Press the front of the feet into the ground. Hold and hover, lift, engage. Again, if you don't have the band, just imagine you're pushing into and hold and strengthen. Lower it down. Soften and shimmy. Oh, I forgot something.
What is that?
I just remembered I forgot something. Right, looking. Let go of your band. Bring your heels towards the glutes and wrap it around the lower legs. Again, mindful of joints. Don't wrap your band on a joint. We're going to lower the feet and press the legs into the band to stretch it wide. So now all of the legs should be engaged. The glutes, the front of the legs, the back of the legs, the sides of the legs. Lift and hover the toes. You can bring your forehead to your hands. Really lengthen, strengthen the legs. Press into the band and hold. And then press and in. Pulses out and in. Find the glutes.
Was it something important?
Yep. We're gonna go fix it. Don't worry.
Oh no.
Hold and hover, press into the bands. And then bring the right heel up higher to the ceiling. Stretch the band the other way. Switch, bring the right heel down, left heel up. Right heel up, left heel up. Notice compensation patterns. Try to keep this really strong and slow. And then release the band. Take a big shimmy with the hips and legs. Let go. Release.
Remember all the things you forgot.
Pressing into the hands, tucking the toes. Send yourself back to a child's pose with the hips high. So puppy pose, pressing into the ground. Allowing maybe even your forehead to come down, your hips high. You can press the tops of the toes into the feet, the tops of the feet into the ground, sorry. Think about softness and space in the back. Have an internal experience. And then tuck the toes, make your way to down dog. You're going to be uneven if you don't come up. Look towards the hands, bend the knees, and either hop or take little tiny steps until your feet are underneath the hips. Inhale as we rise all the way up, prayer down to our hearts. Exhale, connect 3 times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. And I'd like to pretend that I meant to do it this way, but I didn't. I totally forgot to do something. So bring the weight onto the right leg. Get really strong. Bring the left leg forward.
We already did the left leg.
Oh, sorry. The other side. Hold and hover. The other leg, the leg you didn't already do. Hold and hover. Balance. Find your breath. And bring it back down. This time, turn the toes out. So turn the toes out first. Get strong in the left leg. And then see if you can lift and hover toes out. Hold.
I used to remember it so that we didn't have to video us doing it after.
And then bring that down and tap it out. Tap the right toes under. Land the top of the foot and then feel like you're pulling it towards the left foot without letting it move. And then inhale up, swan dive down. Step back to high plank. Hold and hover. Get really long in the spine, strong in the shoulders and arms.
And spin around, lay down.
Lower the knees. Send the hips back. Swing over to a side and swing out the legs. Mop the sweat if your heart's too real. All right, have your band handy if you have it, or a strap, whatever you have. Wiggle the legs, loosen the legs, soften, shake them out. Plant the right foot down, plant the hips down. Watch for compensation patterns. You're going to lean back just a little, trying to get the stomach engaged. Lift and hover the right foot. Watch, this is what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to lift and send your back so you can get that leg higher. It's a compensation pattern. So pull the back in, stomach in. Strong, lift, use this muscle, the weak one that doesn't want to do the work. Hold and hover.
Okay, we're done with that.
And then if you have the band, you're going to wrap it around this right foot. Press into the foot. Find the point where you can stretch. Mwah. And just a little loose. Push, and then bring the foot to where you can feel the stretch and play. Notice if that doesn't feel stretchy for you, we're going to do it again on the back. So notice which one feels better for you. Plant the right foot. Get strong in the stomach first, then lean back just a little. Left leg long. Watch for compensation patterns. So really strong in the top of the left leg. Try not to send that back backwards. Hold, strengthen, long spine. Send your strength up through the crown of the head. Wrap the band around the left foot. Have a little play. Find that point where you can find the back of the leg. Maybe move it open. Just feeling. And then make your way down to your back. Find your back first. Take some wiggles. Oof. And your hips on the ground. It's stretchy time. Take your feet as wide as comfortable. If this is not comfortable for your knees, wiggle your feet further away from the glutes. So take your feet as wide as you can. Hips loosen and soften. Plant the hands and shoulders onto the ground. So plant the palms of the hands down. Really get the shoulders down. Then take the right knee over to the right and let the left knee come in towards center. So if you're not feeling this on the front of the left hip, then you're going to press that knee down. Let the left hip pop up. Maybe change the angle, wiggle the foot around. Go very slow. Just wiggle. Find that point where you feel an opening across the front of the left hip, particularly that muscle we just used trying to hold the leg up. You can prop your left hip up onto your hand, your left hand. Let it relax into your hand. Breathe. You can play with this movement, play with the angle of the foot, the angle of the knee. As long as you go slow and mindful and you're really paying attention to the knees. You want to stay a little active around the knee, using the muscles so that you're not just flopping around in the joint. It is a position where we're applying a little force to the knee. Force is not a bad thing. You just need to be mindful of how you're using it and listen to your body. Slowly, very, very slowly, bring your knees up towards center. Take a little soft sway of the hips and knees. And reset. Your feet and knees are not necessarily needing to be in the exact same position for the other side. Each side is different. So let the left knee, with the hands and shoulders planted, let the left knee come towards the left and slowly bring that right knee towards center, maybe letting the right hip pop up, maybe wiggling the right foot around. Find the position where you can find the front of the right hip. breathe. Let go. Have an internal experience. Connect with this muscle group. Connect with this space. Feel the space. And then lower slowly. Bring the knees back to center. Take a little side sway, just softening the hips and back and legs. And then take the feet towards the sky. Wiggle the toes. Soften and feel the feet, pedal the feet. We work the feet and the legs a lot. So pedal the feet, just starting to feel the muscles. See what's going on. See how they feel different than when we started. And then wrapping the band around the right foot, you can let the left foot to come to the ground with the knee up, and then that same stretch, pressing into the band, finding the back of the right leg, and finding the position where you can feel the back of the right leg, changing the angle of the foot and the leg. Watch for this huge compensation pattern that happens in this stretch. Often the right hip will pop up because we think there's some goal to get this right knee towards our nose. So push the hip into the ground and find just the back of the leg. Wherever that is for you. This is not for our back. We're not looking to stretch our back. We're not yet looking to yank the leg. There's no goal. Find, if you're not feeling it, if you're super flexible, it's not really a term anymore, but if you do not feel this, press into the band with the leg and activate the leg so that you do feel it. Breathe. Press the right hip actively into the ground so you're pushing in two directions. That will also help find more muscles.
Shaking, so I'm really confused.
Turn the toes slowly out towards the side. Now maybe start to feel a little of the inside thigh, and you might need to adjust your grip on the strap. Press the foot away a little more. And then maybe opening up to the right side. You still have a hip there? That sounded pretty bad. Try to keep the hips grounded, maybe even letting the left knee flop to the left side.
New hip replacement surgery.
Slowly bring the right leg back and switch to the left. Then bring the right foot down, knee up, ground the left hip, and then find the back of the left leg. Really pressing the hips into the ground, just having a leg experience, not a back. Turn the toes out, and then slowly allow the leg to come to the left. Right knee can flop to the right, trying to keep the hips grounded. Bring the left knee back to center. Bring the right foot to meet the left. Wiggle out the legs like you're throwing a tantrum. Let everything soften. Soften, 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 soften. Bring the feet to the ground. And then we're going to take wiggles of the hips, left to right. So you're going to press a little bit of weight left to right into the hips, trying to let the hips, the legs, and the glutes soften and wiggle. Soften, soften, soften.
I was going to do that next.
Oh.
So let your hips soften. Feel what it's like to feel soft first. Take a little sway. And then bring right knee over left and bring both knees in towards the chest. Feet come to opposite shoulders. You can grab the shins. Just be gentle and mindful. Slowly unravel. Switch sides. Left knee over right, feet to opposite shoulders. Breathe. Slowly unravel. And take little side sways. And then take the right heel all the way to the right corner of the mat and the left heel to the left corner of the mat. If this is not your 100% most comfortable resting pose, don't do it. Do something else. Bring the feet down to the ground, knees up, and let the knees drop in. Soften the lower back. You can put your feet on a chair. Anything that you prefer for your final resting pose. Find the pose that works for you and you alone. This is resting pose time. Resting pose, not stretching pose. One of the most important parts of the entire class is right now. Softening. Letting go, loosening. Breathe. Bring a little more softness to the soles of your feet. Your grounding point. Feet did a lot of work today, so see if you can connect in with all of the muscles of the feet as if you were telling them one by one to soften and loosen and let go. All the work is done. Soften and loosen around the heels and ankles. Soften and loosen around the shins and calf. Imagine you could place little soft fluffy clouds in between the knee joint. Soften and loosen the thighs. And then imagine those same soft, fluffy clouds right in the joint of the hips. Imagine these fluffy clouds could gently sweep away wear and tear and holding patterns and tension, things no longer needed. And then as if you could slowly walk your attention up your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Placing little soft fluffy clouds in between each vertebrae and sweeping around and sweeping away tension, holding patterns, wear and tear, scars, anything no longer needed. Allow the shoulder blades to melt into the ground below.
Allow the skull to land on the ground. And then land in that center point of the mind, right in the middle of the brain, at the top of the spinal cord. As if this place could rest here. And the thoughts are all the firing mechanisms in the brain a layer above. You can sit right in the center and see them firing. Watch them fire. Watch the brain do what it does. Watch the thoughts swirl and do what they do. As if you were a little bit deeper, a little bit more internal than the layer of the thoughts. Right in the center of the brain. Imagine landing here in this space with softness and kindness. Greeting yourself with patience and tenderness the way you would for a dear friend. Noticing that you can notice your thoughts, and then perhaps noticing a little space in between the thoughts. Take the next few breaths, truly melting in to this letting go experience. Savoring the sensation of letting go and releasing what is held that is no longer needed. And if you have the time to spend, stay in this place. Take as much time as you can. And if 60 minutes is all that you have today, we're coming right up on that mark. So begin to bring gentle wiggles to the fingers and the toes. Softly bring a knee in at a time to the chest and curl up in a fetal position. Grounding down and completing your practice in rituals. Rituals and patterns are really good for our brain, especially ones that are productive to our lives. So curl up in the fetal position. Try to connect with that spark within, the one underneath the layers of the thoughts and the ego, the layers of the levels in society that we place on ourselves, whether we're mother, father, sister, brother, all those layers underneath all those layers is the truest, most essential part of ourself. The little spark of life that we began with in the womb, when all of our needs were met, and we had not judged ourselves as negative or positive. So try to take as many moments as you can to connect with that. The place underneath all of our judgments and layers. And when you come back to a seated position, rise up slowly and bring your hands to prayer at heart space, connecting our left and right sides to meet in front of our heart, as if accepting ourselves as whole and complete, precisely as we are. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thanks for joining us.